And regrettably, these leases, there are no current leases. So 2 companies I mentioned, and the others, we shared a list with you, paid over 15 million in rent per year, rented by government, no current lease. There is no lease. And there is no cabinet approval. And there is no cabinet approval. No cabinet approval. So taxpayers' money is being expended in this manner, and you want to know where the money going for the $493 million in property rentals. No proper documentation.
Why democracy is important? Democracy is not just a system of government. It is a way of life, a commitment to peace, fairness, and the dignity of every human being. From political science, we learn that democracy allows citizens to choose their leaders and hold them accountable. It protects our rights and freedoms, freedom of speech, religion, and the right to protest without fear. History shows us that where democracy thrives, peace follows. After World War II, democratic nations formed alliances that replaced conflict with cooperation. Where dictatorship ruled, violence and injustice often took hold. Philosophers like John Locke and Rousseau believed that every person is born with natural rights, and democracy is the only system that recognizes and protects those rights. Religious traditions across the world echo democratic values. In Christianity, we hear, "Do unto others as you would have them do unto you," or a principle of equality. In Islam, the Quran speaks of mutual consultation, shura, in making decisions. In Hinduism and Buddhism, compassion and respect for all life reflect the spirit of democratic inclusion. Even science supports democracy. Open societies foster innovation, dialogue, and critical thinking, qualities essential for human progress. Democracy is not perfect, but it gives us peaceful tools to solve problems. It encourages dialogue over division, votes over violence, and justice over fear. Let us cherish democracy, not only by voting, but by listening, respecting others, and defending the rights of all. Because in democracy, every voice matters, and that is the foundation of true peace. When we choose not to hold the UNC, or any political party, accountable to its campaign promises, it says a few critical things about the state of our democracy and our role as citizens. 1. We weaken democracy. Democracy thrives on accountability. If we allow leaders to make promises during elections and then abandon them without consequences, we send the message that integrity in public life does not matter. That undermines the very foundation of democratic trust. 2. We enable political dishonesty. When citizens and civil society fail to challenge broken promises, it encourages a culture where politicians can lie to win power. Over time, this becomes normalized, and future leaders feel no pressure to be honest or deliver. 3. We silence ourselves. Not holding leaders accountable is like giving up our voice. Inaction says, "We accept this." But democracy is not just about voting every 5 years. It's about constant engagement. Demanding transparency, asking hard questions, and standing up when promises are broken. 4. We betray future generations. Every unfulfilled promise left unchallenged becomes a burden on the next generation, whether it's in the form of debt, unemployment, corruption, or social division. Accountability today is justice for tomorrow. 5. We forget our power. The people are the real custodians of democracy. If a party like the UNC, or PNM, or any other, makes a promise and fails to deliver, it is our right and responsibility to speak out. Through protests, petitions, media, and public pressure, citizens shape the direction of the country. In short, not holding the UNC accountable reflects political complacency, not political maturity. It is a warning sign that democracy is being reduced to a spectacle, when in truth, it is a shared responsibility.
And there is no cabinet approval. And there is no cabinet approval.
Was that the previous management structure of WASA never received cabinet approval.
Wake up, Trinidad and Tobago, the double standards are killing us. When Persad-Bissessar spoke about government rentals happening without cabinet approval, she sounded the alarm, and rightly so. She called it corruption, a failure of governance, a threat to transparency. Back then, the UNC was in opposition, and every government misstep was exposed and condemned. But now that the UNC is in power, or even on the verge of power, do we hold them to the same standard? When Marvin Gonzales, as minister under the PNM, raised serious concerns about WASA, about positions being filled without cabinet approval and the need for restructuring, he was demonized. He was branded heartless. The UNC roasted him, accusing him of wanting to send workers home. But they never addressed the core issue, that the system was broken and unaccountable. Now we are watching the very same UNC speak about cabinet approval like it's gospel truth. But where was that concern when it was politically inconvenient? This is not about PNM versus UNC anymore. This is about truth versus manipulation, principle versus politics. We, the people of Trinidad and Tobago, must wake up. We cannot keep rewarding parties for their double standards. We cannot stay silent when our political leaders flip their positions for power. We must ask, are we standing for principle? Or are we just defending our political team? When one party calls out corruption in opposition but protects it in government, and vice versa, they are not serving the people. They are playing a dangerous game with our democracy. We deserve better. But we will never get better until we hold all parties accountable, no matter who wears red or yellow.
And regrettably, these leases, there are no current leases. So 2 companies I mentioned, and the others, we shared a list with you, paid over 15 million in rent per year, rented by government, and no current lease. There is no lease. And there is no cabinet approval. No cabinet approval. So taxpayers' money is being expended in this manner, and you want to know where the money going.
Because one of the things that we detected in our report was that the previous management structure of WASA never received cabinet approval. There was absolutely no cabinet approval for the previous management structure of WASA. The terms and conditions of these managers were never approved by the Chief Personnel Office, and it was never approved by the Cabinet. And therefore, we thought that it was necessary to correct this situation because it was unsustainable. And if we were to move on with the transformation of WASA, we should have a management structure that was approved by the Cabinet with salaries approved by the Chief Personnel Officer as we move deeper into the restructuring process.